My name is Brooks Kossover, and I'm an oil painter. Now, some people say painting is dead, but if painting is in fact dead, then I, ladies and gentlemen, am the living dead. And my goal in life is not only to be the greatest oil painter of my generation, but it is to spread the message. It is to turn you into oil painters, because my goal in life is to spread that virus, because the living dead of painting will walk again, and you can be part of that movement. The Kossover Method. You will level up. Now, anyone on YouTube can watch and follow along with my videos, because I want the world to learn oil painting is a dying breed, and it might be dying. But ladies and gentlemen, it is the living dead, and together we shall spread the virus across the world, and oil painting will once again reign supreme. Down with acrylics, down with watercolor. You can be part of the movement. You will be part of it. The more work you put in, the better your results will be. For instance, each quest you complete, you'll be able to complete with either a B, an A, or maybe you're really gonna go for it, and that's what I like. You could get an S. Now, depending on how much effort you put into it, that's gonna be what your experience is based on. Perhaps you'll be level 50 before you know it, or maybe you'll be like my apprentice Dino, who's probably never gonna get past level 25, but here's the deal. Let's start the first quest right about now. Here we are in front of Blue Rooster Art Supply Stores. Guess what, ladies and gentlemen? It's closed, but during the daytime, it's gonna open, so ready? 3, 2, 1. Today we're here in beautiful Hollywood, Los Angeles, California, in front of the best art supply store in town, Blue Rooster Art Supplies. We're gonna be buying some art supplies. I've got my friend here, Michael. He knows absolutely nothing about oil painting whatsoever, and if you're in that exact same boat, that's A-okay, because today we're gonna be getting all the supplies you need to become the greatest oil painter you possibly can be. Let's go on inside and take a look.
Oh, what are we getting, Brooks?
All right, so there's 3 different ways we can do this, okay? We can do this the basic way, and the basic way, you're gonna, get everything you need, probably pretty cheap. Then we can go a little bit better, where it's gonna cost a little bit more, but you're gonna be getting some effective materials. And then we can go all out, and if we go all out, basically that means you're gonna be getting high grade stuff, and you're gonna be super set, ready to go. But even if you just do the first tier, that's fine too. We're just gonna get started now.
So is this all just like oil paints and stuff?
This is the paint room. One of the things I love so much about Blue Rooster in particular is the fact that they have this incredible, beautiful paint room. So we have stuff anywhere from Gamblin here, Ingram, all the way to the highest quality paints right here, Old Holland. Now, we're not trying to break the bank, all right? But if you did want to break it, look at this one right here. Get a close up on this paint. This bad boy right here retails at over $100. Of course, at Blue Rooster, $87. So you're gonna be getting.
It's $100.
So well, actually, $116. At Blue Rooster, $87.
Why would I get this when I could just get like this?
All right, so
like I like to go cheap.
Yeah,
I'm a McDonald's, Taco Bell kind of guy, value menu. So I would like.
All right, so that's a good point. All right, so when it comes to getting oil paints, here's what you need to think about. Michael here, he just asked, why would I buy this when I could buy this? And he pretty much picked out the perfect color. This is cerulean blue light made by Old Holland, and this is cerulean blue made by 1980s Gamblin colors. Now, the difference between these two is, first off, they look like the same color, but this little guy right here retails at over $100, whereas this one right here, probably around $20. And the reason that is because this cerulean blue here is made with pigments that might not necessarily be bound as high quality as the ones that are being bound to this one now. The pigment load and how intense the paint looks, especially once it's being worked with on the surface or when it finishes drying, you're gonna get a much more higher quality, brighter chroma out of this than you will with this. But at the same time, when you're starting out, it's okay to use the cheaper stuff. You just don't want to go too cheap. That's why I think Gamblin's 1980s is a really, really good way to start. And I'm going to recommend everyone who's working along, if you want to just do the basic tier, and that's what's going to get you a B on this first quest, go with 1980, all right?
This one, the expensive one is like higher quality. So I know I've seen you like mix paints and stuff together. Would you like get a higher quality white or black and like lower quality like colors? Okay. I don't know if you use like one color, like do you use black more to mix or white more to mix, or like would you get Like if you were to get this expensive one, would you get a black or a white, like a pure color, or no?
Okay, so first off, I'm glad that you said that. When it comes to working under my method and the way I'm gonna be teaching you, if you purchase a black, you're kicked out. No one here is buying black. You're not gonna use black to darken your tones because that will completely desaturate and wash out the color. My method, I work with what's called a chromatic black. So today, we're gonna be getting the colors you'll need to mix a chromatic black so that you don't end up buying something like ivory or Mars there's a lot of different kinds of lamp black too. Don't buy black. You can mix your own using transparent colors and we'll get to that. But when it comes to white, white is a very, very good thing to have. Now, what I recommend buying, straight off the bat, since we're gonna go with the basics, 1980 to save some money right now, is titanium white. Now what white does is it helps tint your colors. And so I recommend getting the large tube of white. Everything else we can go for the smaller tubes, 37 milliliter. But when it comes to the large tubes, 150 milliliter, white. That's the one. If you don't get anything else in the large tube, make sure you get white in the large tube because you're gonna be using a lot of this stuff. It's gonna run out fast. So first things first, what you're gonna need when you're painting to mix your paints is a palette. Now down here you'll see we have glass palettes. Even if you just get a piece of glass or a mirror or something similar, you want something with a surface like that you'll be able to scrape your paint off of. So the reason you want a surface like that is because we're going to also be needing to get this retractable scraper here with blades in order to scrape off the paint once it's dried or to clean your palette. Now for plein air painting and just to have one in general, I would also recommend having a handheld wooden palette. That's not a necessity, but that's gonna get you to getting an A or an S on this mission, okay? Because as I said before, there's 3 ways you can do this. You can do this with a B ranking, just the basics, an A ranking where you're gonna go a little bit above and beyond, and an S ranking. And if you get an S ranking, you're gonna spend a little bit of extra money, but in the long run, it's gonna be worth it for you. So, the paints that we're gonna get. So we're gonna start with, if you wanna complete the mission, you're gonna need 3 basic colors as well as white, all right? So come over here. Just to complete the quest, okay, you're gonna need 3 basic colors, and those are your primary colors. You need primary colors to mix pretty much anything on the color wheel, and that's why I recommend getting cadmium yellow medium, let's see, cadmium red medium, and then some people would say ultramarine blue, but I prefer to go with a phthalo blue. It's a little bit more on the cooler end of things, and it's very, very transparent. You gotta be careful with this color, but these 3 colors here, and be careful because you might end up seeing, so that's why I'm telling you to get 1980s brand, because if you end up getting maybe Winsor Newton or something that says hue, like for instance, sometimes you'll see colors, they'll say cadmium red medium hue or cadmium yellow hue, and what that means is that's not real pigment. The reason it's cheaper is because there's chalk filler mixed into it, and that's gonna end up just messing you up as a painter because you're gonna mix it with other colors and you're not gonna really understand mixing very well because chalk filler mixes terribly with everything else, and it's just a bad habit to get into buying hues. So don't buy hues. It's a little extra money, but you need to go for the actual color. And cadmium is poisonous, so be careful. Don't eat it. These are the 3 basic colors I need you to get. You need to get these as well as
White, right?
a titanium white if you want to be able to complete the quest, your first basic quest, and get a B on it. Now, if you want to go a little bit above and beyond, get alizarin crimson as well, because alizarin crimson, and that's a deeper sort of cooler red, that's going to mix really well with phthalo blue, as well as a transparent yellow, such as Indian yellow. The 3 of these colors together, that is 3 different transparent primaries. So your transparent primaries, alizarin crimson, phthalo blue, and Indian yellow, mixed together will create what's called a chromatic black. Now, when you mix all of these colors in the right ratio, something that feels right for you, and you're gonna have to do it a couple times before you figure it out on your palette, you're gonna come up with a chromatic black that's your very own, and it's when you mix it with other colors, it's not going to desaturate it as quickly as it would if you tried to take a shortcut by doing ivory black or Mars black or something like that. These 5 colors, as well as titanium white, that will help you complete the quest with an A, all right? But if you want to go above and beyond and get an S, then you're gonna need even a few more colors. Now, I would recommend permanent green light, cadmium red light, and a quinacridone red, okay?
I got these ones. Like, what happens if I mix these just regular gamblins with those?
Okay, so what Michael just asked is he asked what happens if I mix other kinds of paints, like these regular gamblins with a 1980? That's fine. You can mix different kinds of brands. You don't want to mix acrylic and oil together or watercolor and oil together, but mixing pretty much any different kind of oil, as long as it's not some terrible low quality chalk filler, should be fine. And I invite you to experiment with that, especially since you're just starting out as a painter. Experimentation is key. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of the materials we're gonna need to get started. Come and take a look over here. I recommend that everybody gets one palette knife. You need at least one. So if you want to complete the quest with a B, you're gonna need a palette knife that looks just like this.
Why not this one? I like this one better.
The reason that I think that this one is a really good palette knife to use, especially this size in particular, is because of this curve here, you're able to achieve different shapes that you wouldn't necessarily be able to if you use something like this. See how this is very like geometric? You're not gonna be able to get the same kind of curves that you would want to be able to get. But at the same time, using something like this, you can still achieve geometric shapes. You just need to be able to measure, so.
Brooks, you said titanium white, right?
No, don't put that down, put that down. I swear to God, if any of you touch a tube of acrylic paint, you're kicked out immediately. No acrylics, none of that nonsense. The only time that we're even gonna be touching anything relatively close to acrylic is when you want to get your gesso, all right? Now, acrylic gesso, I'm fine with that. Here, come take a look. This is some sort of cheaper, you know, it's okay, it's thin and it's cheap. You can get something like this and that works. You're just gonna need to do a couple of layers on it. If you wanna invest a little bit more money, you can take a look at some of the different kinds of gessos made by other brands, such as we have Amsterdam here. And then if you want to complete the quest with an S or an A, then you're gonna need to get something called oil primer. An oil primer is really how you're gonna get things taken to the complete next level, and rabbit skin glue. All right, so basically what gesso is gesso is going to seal the surface for you. If you wanted to paint, for instance, on raw canvas or on wood with oil paint, what's gonna happen over time is the binder is going to suck into that surface because the surface itself is so thirsty and porous to begin with. And if it's not bound, then eventually over the years, when time takes its toll on the piece, it's going to start to eat away at it, and the wood or the raw canvas will actually start to disintegrate because of the oil paint. If you gesso it and you seal the surface, that won't happen. It's gonna make it what's called archival. And so if something's archival, essentially what it means is it's going to last much, much longer.
Gotcha.
You're also going to need to get a silicool jar. Silicool jar or a brush tank. Basically what it needs to have is, it needs to just be a vessel that's made of glass, and it needs to have a metal thing that hovers underneath that you can rub your brush in to clean it, and so that once you rub your brush in it, whatever is left, all of the paint will separate and fall down to the bottom, because you're going to need to make a tour, and I'll explain that later. Basically all you need to know is you need to get a silicool jar or a brush tank. Just something that's a metal vessel that has, or I'm saying a glass vessel that has a metal hovering overhang that you can wash your brush on. So get one of those too. A jar, a paint cleaning jar. So when you're painting, you need something to hold the painting, right? If you want to complete this with a basic rating, then I'm not going to ask you to get an easel, okay? It would be nice. They can be kind of expensive. Travel easels can be a little bit cheaper, you know, the smaller ones. The larger ones can be very, very expensive because a lot of them are actually handmade. So if you are going to be doing that and you're going to be purchasing an easel, that is above and beyond, but I'm not going to ask you to do that. Honestly, even leaning up something against something, you know, like leaning the painting up against the wall or somewhere where, you know, you put the painting down, you're able to paint on it. That's fine. I'm not going to ask you to buy it, but if you do buy one, it is very helpful to have, and you will be going above and beyond, so you could stand to get an A or an S ranking on this quest. But as long as you have a painting and you're making it, that's all that matters. Anyway, what we need now is brushes. Similar to a game of Pokemon where you have a party of 7, some are fire Pokemon, some are water Pokemon, electric, you know, they're good for different situations. I want you to get 7 different brushes, okay? So come on, let's go check it out.
I play Pokemon, this is the part I can excel at. 1 pack, there's another one, 2.
Okay, what are you doing? You're haphazardly going around grabbing it, 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, you're counting. No, that's not how we're gonna do it, okay? I said 7 brushes. What are you gonna go into battle with 7 fire Pokemon? I don't think so. What happens if you go against the water Pokemon? You're screwed, that's what happens. So here's what we need. We need a pack, if you want to at least complete your mission with a basic rating, then you're gonna need a pack that includes 1 angle shader, one flat that's smaller, one flat that's larger, a filbert, a fan brush, a large round, and a small round. Those are the 7 that I would recommend you getting. Now,
Can I get this?
if you want to go above and beyond and get other sized brushes, or get brushes separately that aren't just the ones that come in a pack, and get more than 7 so that you can switch things out and expand the marks that you're going to be able to make while painting, then you can stand to get not just a B, but maybe an A, and depending on how creative you get with your purchases, maybe even an S ranking. Because think about it, guys, materials are important. Now remember how before we got that palette knife? The palette knife, not only can it be used for mixing paints, it can also be used for mark making as well. So if you wanted to get a couple extra palette knives also, I say go for it.
Why are these so hard? They're all stuck together. It's like they're glued.
Okay, exactly. So what you'll notice, especially with some of the nicer brushes or some of the bigger brushes you'll see, is you'll touch them, and at first it feels like they're kind of stuck together. That's because during manufacturing and shipping, they put a light glue onto a lot of the brushes to kind of keep them in place. You know, that way when they're moved around, the bristles aren't going to get messed up. That's okay. As soon as you use the brushes and put them in water and kind of massage them a little bit, they're gonna get to be right where you want them. We're gonna go into a little bit about brush cleaning and prep as well. So that'll come in the next episode. But for now, we're just getting our materials. Today, what you want to do is you want to purchase your Turpenoid or Gamsol, something that's going to be a solvent, something that helps you clean your brushes as well as thin the paint out. So I recommend getting Gamsol. Gamsol's cheap and does the job. It'll work out perfectly for you. As well as for the later on, you want to get some linseed oil as well, okay? That's a medium, which will help the paint glide across the surface. Remember, support your local art supply stores here in beautiful Hollywood, California, LA at Blue Rooster. That's where I make all my purchases. I used to work here, and it's the store I go to and love the most. So if you don't live in Hollywood, go to whatever local art supply store there is around you, because there aren't enough of them left in the world. And anyway, have fun, happy painting. Later. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed today's first quest. Simple enough. If you got these materials, then you will have achieved a B ranking and this amount of experience. If you got these materials, then you will have achieved an A ranking and gained this much experience. But maybe you went above and beyond and got these materials. And if that's the case, consider yourself one of my top students, because you just got the S ranking and this experience. Well done! Until next time, my name's Brooks Kossover. Over and out, baby. Happy painting.